Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here, Tribal Trades. Wherever you're tuning in from around the world, want to extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining the daily show. And certainly, if you haven't smashed the like already, that'd be awesome if you could do that. You know the drill, and all the comments and questions. I really appreciate those, and I do read all of them, and I look to respond to all of them as quickly as I can. If I haven't, I may have missed it, and so certainly feel free to hit me up and remind me if there's something that you want to connect with me about. And speaking of connection, I'm in the Stocks with Josh Discord every day in the crypto channel, connecting with the best community out there. So exciting. If you haven't signed up yet, there are two links below. There are two different plans that you can sign up before. They're linked below in the description. Click on those and you can get access to not just my crypto channel that's in there, the crypto channel, my Tribal Trades, Crown Trader, my crypto channel, but also the big community crypto channel. Then there's also other Crown traders that have their channels in there. And there's also stock channels for stock market. It's just awesome. Just get in there, check it out. You'll love it and you won't regret it. All right, we're going to jump into Bitcoin. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to have a look at and go over before we looked at the charts. And number one that I wanted to look at here is there's just a lot of good bullish news out there still. I'm pretty sure this is the most historic cup and handle pattern that has ever been formed. And I think that's still in play. I definitely think it's still in play. At some point, it won't be in play if it just we continue to have a bit of a breakdown. But if we break out to the upside, this could be a fairly parabolic move. And this is what Bitcoin has always tended to do. If you look back on price action of 2020 around this time, it was chopping around. It was boring. It was choppy. The altcoins were down, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, things really began to move. So I just want to encourage you to hang in there and keep going. Maybe you've already done your budget out there. Maybe you've already bought everything you can, and it can be frustrating because you're waiting, and you're down. You're not making money. The coins are dropping, and you're wondering. And the last thing you want to do is sell in loss, okay? And so, of course, you want to make sure that you just keep hanging in there and keep being encouraged. See the liquidation heat map as well. You know, the market tends to follow the liquidity, and there is a lot of liquidity at 70K. Now, it seems like we're a long way from there, but just remember, Bitcoin moved 10K very quickly from 49 actually to 62,000 in like a week's time. And so Bitcoin can move very quickly from here to 70K. We could be there in 7 to 10 days. And so just understand that there would be a lot of people liquidated, a lot of shorts would be liquidated. The market makers would make a ton of money if they're able. Well, if they're able to, they are able to, and when they decide to move the market, because I believe we're in accumulation phase right now. I believe that the market is accumulating, that whales are accumulating. While retail has been panic selling and getting bored about Bitcoin, institutions and whales are buying aggressively. And this should tell you smart money is buying. And so they are accumulating, and they need time to accumulate. Just since the dip, the latest dip, which is a week ago, long-term Bitcoin holders bought over 184,000 Bitcoin with 11.1 billion during the recent dip. The long-term holders are accumulating more. It means the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. The short-term holders and the smaller-term holders are selling their coins to the more wealthy long-term holders, okay? That's just the way that it is, and this is what happens. And then they send it, and everybody's like buying at high prices when these, I believe, the times to accumulate during this time. And certainly, I would say that with the market and with Bitcoin, particularly altcoins, that Bitcoin dominance has been crushing. And it is really peaked out. You can see when Bitcoin dominance has really crushed here numerous times, has been a good time to be collecting altcoins. Bitcoin dominance plus Bitcoin dropping, altcoins get smashed. Okay, you don't want to catch a falling knife, but at the same time, have your targets, have a plan, know how much budget you have, know which coins you're buying, and how much you're spending on those coins, know your entry points, and then know your exits, then there can be no panic selling, no panic buying, no FOMO, because you carefully planned all these things out ahead in advance. If only there was such a chart where this existed. Well, look, there is. It's called my crypto cheat sheet. Okay. And there are just amazing resources here. And I'm adding to it and updating it as often as I can. But first of all, we have all the a list of about 20 odd coins here. I'm not recommending you be in all of these or any of them, because I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. It's just education, entertainment purposes only. But certainly, I would certainly recommend anywhere between 10 to 20 coins, depending on your budget and your time that you have to spend. But certainly, I give you the exchange you can find them on. I've given the entries here, and I've worked out the average entry, some take profit levels, okay, all the way up to the top. And so there are lots of good resources here. And then there are some others here that I've also added in the others column that have been requested of me this bull run. And then there's the swing trades. This is more of the long-term hold here. This is the short swing term, because all of these coins are also in here. So on this latest dip, I gave some entries. And if you got on some of these entries, Tau, 165 went all the way up to 320. You killed that trade if you entered. Even Solana went down to 110 and then shot up to, what was it, I don't know what it shot up to, 160 odd or whatever. Render the same. They all had good pumps to the upside. Now, some of them are returning and giving a second chance, all right? Bananas coming back down to that 32. Arweave's down to 20. You have Ethereum that's been a little bit of a stable coin, I must admit, but it's going to have its time. Don't you worry. Injective's coming back down a little bit. Casper was at I think Casper came back with 15 cents, so you could have picked up some more Casper there for this render. I don't think has it come back as low as $4.50. We're going to be doing an altcoin show upcoming, so I am going to update a lot of these coins. We also have stocks in here. We also have areas. We have exits for coins that you might want to exit. I've identified places. Hopefully you got out on XRP at the 64 cent. I told you it was going to get stopped there. I told you that was a good place to get out, and hopefully you dumped all of your bags. Again, not financial advice, but hopefully you did. I'm hoping that you did. You didn't have to, but I'm hoping that you did. Also got some great links here. BitConnect is the recommended for the USA. If you're in the USA, I'm going to put there, that is the recommended exchange that I recommend for you. And we've got the red, white, and blue. And then we've got, if you are the rest of the world, like Australia, I won't go black because we won't see. I'm going to give a good Aussie color, yellow or green. There you go. That's the one I recommend if you're outside. And if you use these links, you'll get reduced trading fees. And of course, they're my referral links, so you really help support me and this channel. Would really appreciate that. If you're going to sign up, might as well some reduced trading fees there as well. There's others, BitGet, BuyGet, of course, NordVPN. Highly recommend getting NordVPN to make sure your identity is both your identity and location are kept secure and safe there. And there's some other great links. Check that out. I also have some education, which I've added. We've got the Getting Started, which is to show you how to get your money off like a Coinbase or Crypto.com or Uphold onto like a BitConnect, get set up on Mexi. I even show you how to use BitConnect. We had some people in the Discord asking about Mexi, so I think I'll probably put out a video on how to use Mexi for those people that are not in the USA. We've got all of my strategies here, the hold, accumulate. We've got the money printing method. And I will say before we go to the charts, just one more thing, that certainly I do encourage having two separate bags, at least two. A hodl bag, which is where over here, the hodl bag, and your more shorter term, day trade, swing trade day, it might be over a few days or a week or a number of weeks, but it's not like years, your long-term hodl. The reason for this is quite often, if you only have a hodl bag, what happens is the profit goes up and you're like, I'm $10,000 in profit, woohoo! And then a week later, I'm like, I'm down. I've lost 10K. I should have sold up there. But then this is what happens also. You're up 10,000. You're like, woohoo! You're like, sell. Yes, I'm 10,000 in profit. And then the price does another 10x and you're like, no. Because doesn't always happen that way. We're like, anytime you sell, you're like, okay, I'm going to sell this time. I'm really going to sell this time because it went up and then down and went up, and I would have made profit there and profit there, and now I'm going to sell. But this time it breaks through because it's hit so many times that same resistance, it eventually is going to break through. And it's kind of like, what is it, Murphy's Law? You finally sell, and then the price just moons. And then, what happens is you don't sell. And what happens? The price dumps, right? But you can get around that by having the two different portfolios, and you can have it on two different exchange, the same coin. You can trade Solana on your HODL, and you can have Solana on your swing trade and keep them separate. There are some exchanges that even allow for that. Bybit's one of them. Qcoin's another. They have two separate portfolios. You can have a HODL and a trade portfolio, okay? And so, yeah, I'm not saying, obviously if you're in the USA, you're not going to be able to use those exchanges. But if you're outside, there's a consideration of possibly using a Qcoin or a Bybit, or just use two separate exchanges. That means, it's awesome. Because if your swing trade gets up and you're 10 grand in profit, sell. If it keeps going, guess what? You got your HODL bag over there, ching ching, and it's going to keep going up. Win-win. Make money there, make money there. If the market pumps and then dumps, make money there. Doesn't matter. HODL, okay, no worries. And then if it dumps down, rebuy, pops back up, make money. Remember, the market ranges more so than it trends. Because it doesn't just, if it trends, it's just going up in a straight line. It just doesn't do that. It doesn't go down in a straight line. There's usually a range that it will range in between, giving you opportunity to buy, sell, buy, sell. Buy, sell. We'll see this with Bitcoin in a moment, and you want to be able to trade those swings, and that's where the swing trading comes in. And that's why having separate portfolios can help you, because otherwise you're like, I'm not making any money, I'm stuck, I'm down 60%, I'm down 70%. When are we going to have an altcoin rally? When are the alts going to take off? And you get to a point where you go, I'm just in a place where if I get back to break even, I'm out. And then the market takes off and you go, oh, why did I sell at break even? You can get around all that, two separate portfolios, at least two. I have three, but two is fine, okay? And if you want to know what they all are, go to here. I will share all of this in life-changing games. They're all up in there, okay? So let's take the pain of this out. And this is why this is why also in my education, I show you how to identify local tops and local bottoms so that you can get out at a local top and get in at a local bottom. We just had a local bottom, in my opinion, okay? Because we've set a higher low. So we've had a local bottom. Now, could we come down a little bit lower at some point? Sure. I don't think that's going to be tomorrow, but you never know what's going to happen in the world, what kind of FUD is going to be thrown away, and what kind of fear is going to bring panic selling in people's lives. But I do feel that we have a sense of calm and we have established a range. So let's quickly go and look at these ranges that we have here on Bitcoin. So you can just see very simply here that Bitcoin's trading and been trading a little bit of a range. Probably, if you actually come up and say, probably here, just around this, I would like to take probably around this low point, just how many touches we get. So let's have a look here. If you got in here on the breakout and you sold, and maybe you didn't rebuy here, that's fine. But you eventually would rebuy down here on this trend line for sure. And then you're selling here on this trend line. And, maybe you take a short pullback here. But again, even if you put in good amounts of money here, significant amounts you take, and then you're patient enough to wait here for a couple of months, and then you get back in. And then you can sell again. You're taking less trades, but you're making more money. But that's all. This is within the same month. And then you come all the way back down to, and look, you here, because of the 200 EMA on the daily. And then you're up again, and then you're back in the trade again, and then you look to take it again. And you could have ridden this one quite well. Look at this one. You could have 200 EMA, get in, get out, up on the trend line, huge order block there, and then come down, 200 EMA, and then there's a trend line here, get back in again, and then you could have actually could have gotten out on the 50-day moving average. That would have been a good spot to take some profits. And I did encourage people in another video to take some profits there. So you can see, I mean, if you look at Solana, you can see, let's actually go to Solana here. You can actually see something very similar here with Solana. I know this is a favorite coin because it's my one of my favorite coins. But I think this is a great example how you could kind of trade this range right here. I said to you the other day, you could trade the range from like 130 up into about 160 right now. And there's the 200 EMA on the daily. It's just come down to hit 140. You could get back in the trade here. But if you come back, it would be a short one because you'd want to look at exiting around the 50-day moving average. So it's like about a $10 swing right now. The swings here were a lot better. So if you look at the swings on Solana, this has been a much better coin to swing. But let's just say you take the trade here, you get back in, accumulate, then you get out, get back in, and then you get out, and then you get back in. Hopefully you got back in on this wick down here. So again, you can see that it's a trending market. Whereas if you're just hodling, you hodl, I'm up 10,000. Oh, I'm back to break even or down. I'm up 10,000 again. Oh, I'm back to break even or down. I'm up 10,000. You haven't made any money. You haven't made any money, but if you're taking profit, getting back in, taking profit, getting back in, taking profit, you can actually trade these swings and chart these swings. And that's why I've created the, oopsie, we lost that there. That's why we created the cheat sheet. All right, so just go back to Bitcoin. I'm going to finish on Bitcoin here and just talk a little bit about the price action. Yeah, so on a Solana there, I would be looking at getting in on the 200 EMA on the daily, which is around 140, and then maybe looking at exiting around at the 50-day moving average at about 152. You could take a short trade there if you have enough volume, or if you're using leverage. Of course, don't use leverage unless you're an experienced trader. Okay, so, but you can certainly see Bitcoin here. What I've found with the 200 EMA on the daily is it's gone below it. So I'm short-term bearish on this. We could recover this quite quickly, of course. This could be a little bit of front running or fear coming in the market that there might be some negative CPI. Maybe there's some people in the know that have tipped some people off. And so we could see a little bit of a drop down. Or maybe they're wanting to get a lot more shorts involved in this trade so there can be a higher number of liquidations once we get back up to 70. And we are going to get back up to 70 here. And so there's the 50-day moving average. And so we're kind of stuck in between there. Now, and I'm not going to go all the way back, but you can go back in time, get in your time machine and jump back on these charts and have a look. So I'll be looking that if these start to cross, and they do cross there, generally it can be a lagging indicator, but generally the cross, when it happens, the price has already hit the local low, and then usually you get a bit of a takeoff in a bull market. I'm talking about a bull market. I'm not talking about any of the bear markets here. So if you're looking at any price historical actions, look at the bull market. Then what I've found, though, that quite often when it sticks in the middle and it stays in the middle for a while and then takes off the upside, it really does take off. That's the other thing as well. But we've broken down there. So I'm short-term bearish. My price targets to the downside are probably first and foremost around this 55 to 56 zone that is here. But first of all, we could fill the rest of this fair value gap. I was talking about the fair value gap in the Discord. I gave the trade in there. It's likely that we go down there. Bitcoin does like to fill these gaps, and the fair value gap was about 59,500 down to about 57,750. And so we could come down and fill the rest of this fair value gap. Once that gap has been filled, that might be it. Now, look, we might just go sideways here. Historically, Bitcoin hasn't really taken off until the fourth quarter. One that I'm really looking for is on the trend line here at 54. It did come down and hit that again after the next day, and then took off. And so 51,500 is the area that I've got a lot of interest in down here. That would fill half of this liquidity wick here, which is certainly something that can happen. The fair value gap is almost filled. It doesn't have to fill completely, so we'll see what happens there. And there's some stuff here, but we see that we just kind of dropped pretty heavy. We dropped pretty heavy and we recovered pretty heavy. And now let's see if we can pop back over that 200 EMA. If we pop over the 200 EMA, we've got some resistance here on the 50-day moving average at about 61,500 or so, 61,700 maybe. And then we've got some the moving EMA band up here. There's a trend line up here. So there is a fair chunk of resistance here that I don't expect us to get through right away on that. And so just be careful when you're trading. But let's go back 1 year time from here. We're going to jump in the time machine and go back to September. So here you go. Imagine you bought in August and then it dumps 15th of August, and you don't really get back to that price until October. So there's a full 2 months of just chop right here. And this is kind of similar to what we're seeing at the moment here. So you can see that the 50-day moving average comes down, but the bottom was already in. And then it didn't go lower than that, and then they crossed. So it was a little bit of a lagging indicator here. And okay, so you can see that this was a frustrating time for people. They're like, oh, Bitcoin's dumped, rejected on the 200 EMA, rejected again, okay, then finally breaks through, then comes down below it again here before it pops up and takes off. But you can see this whole time between here, it's quite close. And this was the best buying opportunity. There's a little zone here, probably there's this little zone from here, from about the 20th of August through to around about, if we go right through to about almost the 20th of October, for 2 months, it was quite low bearish accumulation time. So I wanted to encourage you there. You can see what happens with the relationship there, 50-day moving average going below and the 200 EMA above. You don't want that. You want it break. And by the time it breaks back up, it's already kind of taking off. And so I just wanted to encourage you on that. That if you're struggling a little bit, you're thinking, hey, what's going on with my trading? These are times to accumulate. If you run out of budget to accumulate, it's just time to be patient, have a garage sale, get a second job, get a side hustle, get a little bit of part-time work. I'm not sure. I don't know. Just be patient. Wait, hang in there, look for those opportunities. Certainly that's the journey that I'm wanting to help you to in your trading life. So as always, thank you again for joining the show. And until the next episode, happy trading.